Have you ever wondered if you're paying way too much to live near the action? Now, what if I told you Sacramento might be your best move that you make to save thousands in 2025 and without breaking the bank? We're talking about more house, less stress, better access to recreation like Tahoe and Napa, and a smarter daily routine inside of that 20-minute bubble. Think coffee shops, gyms, schools, and groceries you actually touch every single day. Now, everyone says Sacramento is the most affordable city in California compared to the Bay Area and Southern California, and sure, they may be right. But if you're moving here in 2025, the true cost of living has layers. Property taxes are different, new construction comes with Melrose, utilities spike in the summertime, and some of those neighborhoods tack on those pesky HOAs that people don't notice about until their first bill hits. Now today I'm unpacking all of it: housing, taxes, utilities, grocery, gas, commuting, hidden fees, and at the end, I'll tell you what income range actually feels comfortable in Sacramento right now so you can compare apples to apples with where you're currently living right now. Now let's zoom out for the big picture real quick. Sacramento sits in the sweet spot of California. Real city amenities, lower daily costs than your coast or Southern California, and neighborhoods that feel livable, not just Instagram nice. The rhythm is different here. Most clients we work with build out their real 20-minute bubble. Home, work, school, coffee, gym, groceries, parks, all within a tight radius with minimal friction. It's not about doing less, it's about doing more without wasting time or money getting to it. We're going to touch on all the hot topics as it relates to cost of living in Sacramento in 2025 and where you can save a little bit by designing that perfect bubble. Now let's start with the biggest line item, and that's going to be housing. Now Sacramento is the affordable city in California because you're not paying Bay Area premiums, but prices swing wildly across the greater Sacramento metro. Neighborhoods matter, schools matter, and whether you're buying new construction or resale matters. Now in Elk Grove, you can find family-friendly neighborhoods with parks and newer tracts of homes, and a clean 3-bedroom home is going to typically start somewhere in the low 500s, with neighborhoods like Laguna West and Stone Lake running a little bit higher, and homes in the area can climb all the way up into the mid-9s. Roseville's also going to offer strong schools, major shopping destinations like the Galleria and Fountains, a lot of family-friendly things to do like Top Golf and Sunsplash Water Park, and you're going to have job centers. Now, many homes are going to fall within that sweet spot of 650 to 800K, but there are some homes that are going to start off in the high 400s. Now, East Roseville is going to push the budget a little bit more, especially because it sits near Granite Bay, but the benefits both to Elk Grove and Roseville is you can still find a diversity of housing and entry-level homes in both of these cities. Now, Folsom's going to blend a little bit of lifestyle, schools, and trails. Most of the homes are going to run somewhere between 700 to 900K, and Folsom Ranch, specifically the new builds, are going to start off in the mid 700s and go up from there depending on the builder and the lot options. Rockland is also going to be another one of those neighborhoods that's going to bring great schools, rolling hills, parks. Updated 3 or 4 bedroom homes are going to start right kind of in that mid 600 range. And then you're going to have communities like Whitney Ranch that's going to have an HOA with a clubhouse and a pool and all of that good stuff. Then there's going to be El Dorado Hills. Think Serrano Country Club, Blackstone. These are going to be gated communities. They're going to have options, views, clubhouses, amenities, pools, gyms. A lot of these homes are going to range somewhere between 800 to 1.4 million, but El Dorado Hills is also going to have some non-gated options. Now, Natomas, in my opinion, is going to be a value play that's going to be closer to downtown and the Sacramento International Airport. There's going to be a lot of 3 to 4 bedroom homes in this area that are going to range from that low to mid 500K all the way up to the mid 600s, and we're seeing a lot of new construction come into that area. Pocket Greenhaven area is going to offer that classic Sacramento charm. Near the river, it's going to offer a lot of mid 500 to 700K ranges. Then you're going to have places like East Sacramento and Land Park. These are going to carry that real charm premium with renovated bungalows, family style cottage estates, and these are going to frequently trade somewhere between 900 to 1.4 million. Finally, areas like Citrus Heights, Antelope, Rancho Cordova, Orangeville, they're going to present entry-level opportunities that are going to be somewhere in that mid 400K range all the way up to the mid 600K range, depending on the updates and the school districts. Now, new construction versus resale, that's a conversation that we always get. New builds are going to be cleaner, they're going to be more energy efficient, and builders are often going to dangle some of those incentives, but you have to count all of the hidden fees. That means not just the base price, but you got to include lot premium, structural options, design center selections, and if applicable, the Melrose and the HOA. That final tally is going to be your real number. Now, resale options can often be cheaper up front and is often closer to built out amenities, mature trees, and shorter commutes. But in that scenario, area, you may need to budget for older systems that eventually need to be updated. Now, as a rule of thumb, if your priority is payment control, don't just chase that teaser rate from the builder. You're gonna need to add in all of the property tax line and any district assessments into that monthly bill before you fall in love with the kitchen. Our pro move is to always map out your all-in monthly bills two ways: new construction versus the resale in the top 2 suburbs with the same down payment and assumptions, line item by line item, so you can see the real delta before you write that offer. Now here's the renter reality in Sacramento, and I'll keep it super practical and quick. A sharp 1-bedroom in Midtown is typically gonna run somewhere between $1,800 and $2,200 a month, depending on the building age, parking situation, and whether you've got in-unit laundry and a balcony. Newer 2-bedrooms near the core, like think Midtown, downtown, R Street corridor, or even the ice blocks, that's gonna land somewhere between $2,300 and $2,800 a month. You're gonna be paying for amenities like a fitness room, pool, roof deck, package locker, and sometimes a co-working lounge. Now, parking in these areas is going to be structured. It's usually somewhere between $100 to $200 a month. And many buildings also tack on utility bundles, which is going to be sewer and trash. Think somewhere between $60 to $150 a month. Internet's also going to be another $70 to $100, and most places are going to require renter's insurance, which is pretty cheap. It's usually around $12 to $18 a month. Now, if you slide out to the suburbs or complexes in Natomas, you're going to find bigger floor plans, newer stock, and easier parking at a slight discount compared to what you find in Midtown. Now, on the single family side, clean 3 to 4 bedroom rentals with a yard in Elk Grove, Roseville, or Folsom, that's typically going to run you somewhere between $2,800 to $3,300 a month, depending on condition, schools, and yard size. In places like Rockland and El Dorado Hills are definitely going to push that number just a little bit higher, especially in the newer tracts. Now, expect most landlords to want combined household incomes at 3 times the monthly rent, solid verifiable employment, and credit typically in the mid 600s, but that's going to be a per landlord basis. Now, security deposits are commonly 1 month's rent, and you're gonna see $30 to $60 for application fees. Now, also check whether water landscaping is included on the single family rentals. Some HOAs require tenants to maintain the front yard, and violations can become your problem. Now, the big decision point, if your rent is floating somewhere near $3,000 a month, it might be time to run a buy versus rent scenario, especially in school district suburbs where long-term property tax assessments tend to be more predictable on ownership than the year-over-year rent jumps. 2 more things that swing this is commute and energy use. If you can live inside of your 20-minute bubble and pick an energy efficient home, sometimes home ownership math often gets closer than people expect. And if you're set on renting, decide whether or not the value of Midtown walkability and amenities over the space and yard in Natomas, Elk Grove, Roseville, or Folsom. Now, I know the housing was a lot in the first take, but if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Lance with the Living in Sacramento team, and my wife and I help people relocate here to the greater Sacramento metro by showing exactly what it's like to live, move, eat, sleep, and play in the greater Sacramento metro. So if you're thinking about making the move, or you want some more specifics on helping figure out what your cost of living may look like moving to the greater Sacramento metro, that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message. We don't hand you off, and we absolutely love when you guys reach out to us. So that phone number is going to be up there. If you're not ready to reach out to us quite yet, but you still want to start searching for homes, we also built a real estate app for you guys. So if you guys want to start searching for homes ahead of time, go ahead, scan the QR code, and you can download our real estate app, or you can go ahead and book a private one-on-one Zoom call. So let's jump back into that next one for the cost of living. Now, next up is property taxes, and California property taxes work differently. Now, under Prop 13, your base rate is roughly about 1% of the purchase price, and the county can only increase the assessed value a small amount each year. For a simple benchmark, a $600,000 purchase price creates a base tax rate around $6,000. Now, once you layer in all the local bonds and assessments, which vary city to city or district to district, the total for many homes is going to land somewhere between $6,500 and $7,200 per year, or roughly $540 to $600 per month baked into your payment. Now, the curveball is the Melrose, also called the Community Facilities District. Now, this is going to help fund infrastructures like schools, roads, fire services, and shows up as a separate line on your property tax bill. You'll primarily encounter this in places like West Roseville, South Elk Grove, Folsom Ranch, and some parts of Natomas, and some of the newer pockets of Elk Grove and Rockland. Now, typical totals range anywhere from about $200 to $4,800 per year, or roughly $250 to about $450 per month, depending on the builder, and that amount depends on the district and the home size. Now, HOAs are another piece to the puzzle. A straightforward tract with a common area upkeep might run somewhere somewhere between $60 to $85 a month, like Whitney Ranch. Some of the amenities can be anywhere from $130 to $150 up in Lincoln Crossing. Now, typically some of these communities that have a little bit of the higher HOA, sometimes they have a pool, clubhouse, or front yard maintenance. Then there's also going to be communities like Serrano and El Dorado Hills, and this one can be a higher one because they're going to have some guard gated communities up there as well. Bottom line, your real monthly payment isn't just going to be your principal and interest, but it's also going to be your base tax rate, your bonds, your assessments, any Melrose fees, HOAs, dues, homeowners insurance. Make sure we add those up first, then decide if the neighborhood's going to fit your budget. Next up is going to be those utilities, and electricity is going to be a big swing item, especially from July through September. If you're in most of the Sacramento County, you're going to be within SMUD, which is going to be generally cheaper than PG&E, which is going to be in Placer and El Dorado counties. In spring and fall, a typical family bill lands somewhere between $150 to $250 per month, and then in peak summer, plan for somewhere between $325 to $450 plus, especially if you're cooling a 2-story home or west-facing exposure and you've got a dark roof. Now, solar can definitely help in some of these communities. Many new builds are going to include solar panels or offer an add-on financing, but check with the actual usage and your current net metering rules before assuming net zero bills. Now, water, sewer, and trash can come bundled, but not always, and most suburbs can run anywhere between $70 to $120 per month combined, depending on the usage and the house size. Now, watering grass in the summertime will definitely spike that number, and drought cycles can add on restrictions and or fees. Now, the one caveat to Placer County is going to be City of Roseville. Roseville's city utilities are often going to be friendlier on cost, while places like El Dorado Hills, Granite Bay, and Lincoln are going to be a little bit more expensive with PG&E. Now, for internet, you can expect somewhere between $70 to $120 per month for fiber or cable at decent speeds. Always confirm which carrier is actually going to be in the area, but for most of us here, it's going to be Xfinity or Comcast. Natural gas is going to be with PG&E. Everybody's going to have that except for the homes that are all electric, and many homes are going to be a mixed gas electric bill. So in wintertime, sometimes gas bills can commonly land somewhere between $40 to $150 depending on the home size and installation. But the biggest thing here is we want to build out the budget with the utility ranges and give extra room for the summer AC bills, especially when it's hot. Next up is going to be groceries. Now, groceries here are going to be California normal, not Texas cheap, but you can control the bill if you shop smart. Day-to-day prices are going to land somewhere where you would expect for Northern California. Milk is going to run about $4.99 a gallon. Eggs are going to be sitting somewhere between $4 to $6 a dozen, and a decent loaf of bread is going to be somewhere between $4 to $5. Chicken breast can hit $5 to $6 a pound, but on a good sale, you'll see $3 to $4. And seasonal fruits and vegetables can swing a lot, but if you head to the farmer's market, you can definitely get that cost down. Now, where you shop does matter. Nugget and Rayleigh's are going to be polished and convenient. Safeway is going to live on promos and club pricing, and Trader Joe's is going to be great for staples and snacks. Costco definitely wins on protein, paper goods, and kid snacks, and if you have the storage, Winco can definitely save you real dollars if you don't need the fancy experience. For a family of 4, a realistic monthly grocery range is going to be somewhere between $900 to $1,200 without going fully organic. If you lean more of the organic, gluten-free, high protein, add a couple of $100 onto that number. Now, if you batch cook and Costco hard, you can slide towards the low end, but pro move, build a weekly rotation. Costco proteins on Sunday, Trader Joe's fill-ins midweek, farmers markets for produce, and keep the cart predictable. Dining out definitely adds up fast. Neighborhood Mexican or sushi is still a value, and family of 4 usually lands somewhere around $60 to $80 before tip. A midtown sit down with appetizers and drink can definitely jump up to about $120 to $160, and step up to a chef driven spot and you'll pass that number very quickly. Remember the downtown extras when you're thinking about it: parking, service fee, and higher tip lines. Those can stack on another $15 to $30 onto a night out. Now, coffee is definitely its own budget line here. You've got Temple and Chocolate Fish, so plan on spending somewhere between $5 to $7 per drink. Do that 4 or 5 times a week and you're easily at $100 to $140 a month without even noticing. Now, if that's your ritual, that's cool. Just make sure you budget for it. Bottom line, groceries are manageable if you mix stores and chase weekly promos. Dining out is where Sacramento quietly taxes your lifestyle. Know your rhythm and how often you eat out or grab coffee, and your monthly number stops being a surprise. Now, life cheat code that we use consistently is Sacramento farmers markets are going to be elite seasonal produce at better prices. Build a weekly routine of stopping by some of the Sacramento farmers markets and watch that bill drop as the quality goes up. Now, another thing for some of you guys who are moving to California from out of state is going to be gas. Now, gas is going to sit well above the national average because of taxes, fuel blends, and everything that's trying to make gas cleaner. Taxes and fuel blends are going to push those prices up, and in 2025, plan on somewhere between $4.50 to $5.50 per gallon. That number moves week to week, so don't lock in your budget to a single fill up. Commute times are definitely going to matter just as much as the pump price. So if you're driving from Roseville to downtown, expect that to be about a 30 to 45 minute true rush hour. Elk Grove to downtown is going to be somewhere in that 25 to 35 minute range, depending on where you're coming from in Elk Grove. Now in the wintertime, add time for rain, fender benders on I-80 or Highway 99, or a big ticket event at Golden 1. The difference between leaving at 7:15 and 7:45 can be your entire mood for the day. Parking is definitely going to have your own light items, especially if you're going downtown. Garages downtown can be typically anywhere between $15 and $25 per day, or $180 to $240 per month for a pass. Street meters look cheaper until you factor in time limits and tickets. If you're in the core of downtown 3 to 5 days a week, a garage pass often pencils out. Light rails and buses do exist, but most of our clients still rely on their cars. And if you drive an EV or a hybrid, you'll definitely feel the difference here. Home charging plus a tight 20-minute bubble takes the string out of fuel costs. If you're shopping for an EV, confirm charging options at home as well as near your workplace before you commit. The other one is going to be insurance, and that's going to be a quiet expense that surprises a lot of people moving from out of state and state. If you're already from California, you're probably already aware of this, but many families are going to land somewhere between $130 to $200 per month per car, depending on the carrier, the driving record, and the zip code. And the Sacramento zip codes are going to rate differently than the Bay Area and Southern California, so it's worth reshopping your policy, especially if you're coming from Southern California or the Bay Area once you have your new address. Bundling home and auto, raising deductibles to a level you're comfortable with, and using safe driver programs can also shave off dollars. Bottom line, gas is high, time is money, and the parking adds up. Test your commute at real rush hour times, price a garage pass if you're downtown often, and right size your vehicle for your lifestyle. That's definitely how you keep your transportation budget from quietly turning into a second mortgage. Now this one's gonna vary a little bit depending on whether or not you have kids, but public schools can range a lot by district, and that's gonna heavily influence where families buy. Rockland, Roseville, Folsom, Rancho Cordova, Elk Grove Unified, these are gonna be frequent targets because of the programs, test trends, and overall community feel. Homes are gonna cost more in some of these areas, and many parents decide that that premium is worth it. Now, after school care can generally cost somewhere between $300 and $600 per month, depending on the program, and the wait lists are real, so as soon as you're ready, or as soon as you know that you're gonna be making the move to the Sacramento area, start getting on some of those waiting lists. Now, Sacramento's superpower is how affordable your lifestyle can be once you're here. You don't have to spend big to have a fun weekend. Start with the outdoors. Things like the American River Parkway gives you more than 30 miles of paved trails for biking, jogging, and a slow walk with morning coffee. It's basically free, and the scenery changes from season to season. If you like the water, Lake Natoma is a quick and easy win. You can get a lake pass for $125 for the year. You can rent paddle boards and kayaks there. You can also get a paddle board from Costco. Those are usually about $250 to $300 depending on what time of season they are. State parks are also super simple too, and a day pass is around $12, and an annual pass, that's where we usually save our money. It's $125 for a year. You go 10 times and it's great. State pass and county passes are a little bit different, but Sacramento County also offers a park pass that covers all the parkway parking, which pays for itself fast if you're a regular. Sports and entertainment are accessible, but plan your budget. A Sacramento Kings game in the upper bowl typically runs $40 to $80 per ticket, and the lower bowl is typically going to jump up from there. You have River Cats and Oakland A's at Sutter Health Park. Those are going to be fun family nights out. Those are going to be usually $15 to $30 a seat, and you can keep food costs down if you plan ahead. Concerts at Golden One Center are going to be priced by like any big market, so buy early and expect dynamic pricing as they push the popular shows higher. Golf follows the same pattern. Public courses are solid and scenic. Weekend prime times usually land between $50 and $90 a round. Private country clubs like Granite Bay or Serrano are going to require an initiation and monthly dues that usually start around somewhere between $500 to $1,000 or more depending on the category and the add-ons. If you're testing the waters on golf, we've saved a lot of money on twilight rounds or midweek tee times. Those are definitely going to be your budget play. Then you're going to have all the weekend escapes, and those are going to be extra credit. Tahoe is roughly about 2 hours if conditions are clean, factoring gas, parking, and trailheads or ski resorts. And then Napa is also going to be about an hour and a half away. Now the Bay Area is close enough for a day trip as well, but remember tolls and parking are going to be a real budget line. Stack those with bridge traffic and it's going to be definitely worth asking if that trip is a Saturday all day commitment or if it's better to just do that once a month. Now here's the point, if you build your routine around Parkway, local lakes, and neighborhood events, Sacramento stretches dollars. You get real recreation without turning every Saturday into a $100 outing. Now save the bigger spends for a King's Night, a concert, or a wine weekend when it actually matters to you. Now up next is going to be that sneaky cost that blindsides a lot of newcomers, Melrose surprises, summer AC spikes, and the little monthly drips that add up to thousands per year. Now a little bit of rapid fire. First one is going to be Melrose and CFD fees. Don't assume property taxes is just going to be that 1% and call it a day. Some districts add on an extra $200 to $400 per month equivalent, but we can pull the parcel number anytime you're interested in looking at a property. Check out the HOA fine print. Front yard maintenance can be a win, but budget $150 to $300 a month for amenities and communities. Summer electricity, 2-story, west sun, dark roof, expect $350 to $400 in July and August without solar efficiency. Landscaping and water, big lawns in July equal big bills. Also make sure you check watering day restrictions just in case you don't end up with a fine. Commute creep, that 30 minutes you saw at noon on Google Maps, make sure you test it at Tuesday at 8 a.m. when you get here. Appliances and roof age, a deal quote unquote, with a 20-year roof and a 15-year AC isn't really a deal because you're gonna have to replace those at some point in time. And then make sure that you check with insurance nuances. Older electrical panels, wood shake roofs, proximity to wildfire zones, those can all bump your premiums up or limit carriers altogether. Now parking. Parking if you work downtown, gonna be garage passes, $180 to $240 a month. Kids activities, 2 sports music lessons can also equal a car payment if you don't watch out. And then Bay Area Tahoe weekends. All right, now let's talk about income and what feels comfortable here. Now everybody's definition of comfortable is gonna be different. So I'm just gonna be giving ranges that match what I see with clients who want good schools, a reasonable commute, and a little room for fun without sweating every bill. Now, if you're a single professional renting in Midtown or East Sacramento, and you keep a car, plan on somewhere between $70,000 to $110,000 usually feels good. At that level, you can cover a 1-bedroom in the $1,800 to $2,200 range, add a garage parking if needed, keep utilities and internet paid, and still have space for grocery, gas, and gym membership and a few dinners out. Now, if you've got student loans or a higher than average car payment, you'll feel more comfortable towards the top end of that range. If you're open to a roommate or a slightly older building, you can make more work on less. Now, for dual income couples buying in Natomas, Pocket, or older parts of Elk Grove with a modest HOA and no Melrose, $140,000 to $170,000 household income tends to be a solid stride. That usually supports a 3-bedroom mortgage with a total monthly around, mid $3,000 to $4,000 range. And once you include principal and interest, base property taxes, local assessments, homeowners insurance, and typical utilities, add 2 phones, internet, grocery, gas for 1 or 2 cars, and a couple of date nights, you still have room for savings and an annual trip. Now, if one person pauses work temporarily, the budget tightens, but you can still function with careful spending. Now, for a family of 4 aiming at Roseville, Folsom, Rockland, or Elk Grove, with strong schools and a newer home, you can plan on somewhere between $150,000 to $200,000 a year for true breathing room. That range accounts for a larger mortgage, depending on any taxes, any Melrose, higher summer electricity bills, youth sports, activities, after school care, rising insurance costs, and the desire to take 1 or 2 real vacations a year. You can do it for well below that range, but most families feel comfortable when there's a cushion for irregular expenses like tires, braces, or the water heater. Could you do it for less? Absolutely, but buy smart, choose a home with energy efficient systems, and keep your daily life inside of that 20-minute bubble to save on fuel and parking. Or you can favor resale neighborhoods without Melrose, or if you prefer new construction. Now, if you want to favor resale neighborhoods without Melrose, or you prefer new construction, verify the exact district taxes before you fall in love with that house. Bundle insurance options, shop for carriers after you change your zip code, and be honest about dining and coffee habits. Those small choices can move the needle every month. So if you manage those levers, Sacramento can definitely feel more attainable without stretching any of those top ranges. Now, we spoke about it briefly on our last video, but picking the right bubble can help you save time and money. If your gym, your grocery, your coffee, your school, and all of your kids' fields are within 20 minutes, you'll save gas, parking, eating out, emergencies, and most importantly, stress. This is our philosophy. Don't just pick a city, but build your bubble. Ask yourself, where do I actually drive every day? What schools are actually my feeder pattern? Where's my gym? What are my coffee shops, groceries, kids practice? When your daily life fits within that 20-minute bubble, you'll save time, you'll save gas, you'll save stress, and honestly, money. Now the main question is what would I do if I was moving here today? If I was moving to Sacramento today, I'd start by writing down all of my non-negotiables in plain English, the school quality I expect, my maximum commute time door to door, and the outdoor lifestyle I actually use. Trails, parks, lakes. I'd get super specific. For example, 20 minutes to school, 20 minutes to work, and 5 minutes to a trailhead. Next, I'd figured out my total monthly before I look at a single house. That means principal, interest, base property tax, Melrose, HOA dues, homeowners insurance, and the honest average for utilities with summer AC baked into it. I'd put that number on a post-it and I'd keep it in front of me while I scroll for houses because pretty kitchens make you forget the math. Then I narrow down on a map 3 areas that match my 20-minute bubble. More than 3 creates analysis paralysis and YouTube rabbit holes. I'd walk each of those at different times a day, test the actual commute on a weekday, and grab a coffee to feel the vibe. Now, if it doesn't work in traffic, it just doesn't work. If new construction tempts me, and it will, I'd be asking for the out-the-door monthly in writing. I want the base price, lot premium, structural options, design center picks, and every district tax line spelled out on one sheet. And if there's a buy down, I definitely want to buy that rate down. No assumptions, no surprises. Now on the home itself, I'd hunt for energy efficient like it matters because here it does. The goal is to flatten July and August so your budget doesn't spike every summer. I'd also pressure test the monthly 2 different ways. The new versus the resale in the same price band. Sometimes a resale with no Melrose beats a shiny new build by a few $100s every month. Sometimes a builder buy down wins by a mile. I'd let the math do the work and let that be the choice. Finally, I would protect my time. I'd schedule showings in 1 or 2 type blocks each week, keep notes on my phone after every house, and rank the homes against the non-negotiable list, not each other. When a place clears the bar and the numbers fit the post-it, I move. I know that was a lot for cost of living for Sacramento, but if you want us to help you run some true monthly numbers across 2 suburbs or figure out resale versus new construction, that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us. So if you're thinking about making the move to the greater Sacramento Metro and you want more specifics about cost of living for your family, your scenario, that phone number is going to be popping up. We absolutely love when you guys reach out to us. So give us a phone call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.